How we doing, YouTube? Maverick here, Fraser Canyon Ballers. Today going to do a valve set up the valve, top of the valves. And start off, you have to strip your bike down. You have to get rid of the side cover. 2 bolts holding your seat down. And then if you got a stock tank, you still have to take that bolt out. Then your fairings would be screwed here into the tank. I'm not sure if you'd have to take them off the tank or not, but I know you'd have to undo that screw to get the fairings off, and then you would take your tank off. And then we'll get into her. Okay, as part of your valve adjustment, you'll have to pull these 2 caps off, which I pre-loosened. And then you'll turn that nut, bolt, counterclockwise until, I don't know if you'll be able to see that in there, but there's a letter T, and then to the right there's the letter F. You want to line it up with the notches to the T. Take all your caps off. And according to the book, your intake is between 3 and 5 thousandths of an inch on a feeler gauge, and your exhaust between 4 and 6 thousandths of an inch. So I'll just bring you over. I'm going to take all 4 of these caps off. They cover your valves. And you have a top of your rocker arm. You got a lock nut and a set screw. And this is the exhaust, so here you go, partner. Keep it steady and on there. So the exhaust is between 4 and 6 thousandths of an inch. So I would set it at the minimal, which is 5, and just make sure it slides in there fairly snug. It should slide in and out without resistance. So that guy's a little tight. I may have set it to the minimum, which I did. So that one is right now currently at 4 thousandths of an inch. Okay, swing over to this one and we'll set this one up. And we'll go around to the other side. And try not to, if my hand's in the way, you'll have to move. So you take your screwdriver. I know this one needs to be adjusted, so and loosen it without moving your screwdriver. Quarter turn's good. And this is the intake side, which is between 3 and 5 thousandths of an inch. So once again, I go to the smallest, which is 03, and I'll set it tight on 03, and then my clearance on 04 should be good. I'll find my 03 again. How you doing, cameraman? So that's going the wrong way. We'll find it. So 03. Take between 3 and 5. So slip your feeler gauge underneath. You see in there, buddy? Watch, don't knock my coffee over, please. So run it down until it's snug till you can barely move the thing out and in. And then just off a little bit, because you got to be able to get the feeler gauge in and out of there. And make sure you're not pushing down on your screwdriver, because that'll give you a false sense of how tight it is. So every now and then lift your screwdriver and just make sure you can just barely slide that in and out. That's too tight. Right about there. And then with it still in there, snug it up, because you're going to move it probably a little bit. If you go the right way, it makes it easier. Easier with the camera there, you got to stay steady, buddy. So snug that up good. Try not to move the... And then your gauge should slide in and out with very little resistance. So that's the intake set. And we'll just go back and double check the exhaust at 04. thousandths of an inch. And we have a very snug fitted 04. I think we're going to loosen that one off a touch. So once again, screwdriver, can you see that? Come around to this side. Come around to this side. Make sure you got to keep that in the view of the camera, Turkey. I'm going to have to fire my cameraman. So once again, loosen it off. Enough to get your feeler gauge in there. Once again, this is exhaust, so I'm setting it at the minimum of 4 thousandths. Back the camera up a little bit. Slack on the nut there. Oh, this guy got so tight all of a sudden. There we have 4,000 snug. And you do the same on the other side, and then assembly, well, it'll be exact opposite of disassembly. Put your caps back on, tighten them down. Oh wow, hand tight. Good snug up. Hey Devin, thank you. While doing my valves, I noticed that my throttle cable is a little out of adjustment. There's about a 1/16 of a turn on the throttle. So I'm just going to take the little bit of the slack out of that. So you loosen off your capture bolt nut, sorry. Okay, so he uses the tension the top nut. I thought that whole rod was threaded, but it's not. It just slides in there, so it'll loosen off your bottom nut a bit to allow your cable to pull tighter. Just the sheathing. Down here for a second. Oops, launch the camera, eh? Still quite loose. You just keep loosening the bottom one and tightening the top one and move that rod through a bit. A little bit more. I know you want a little bit of free play, but not much. Stop pinching the wrench against the housing there. A couple turns this time. Oops. Gonna get me a better camera setup. Get my cameraman back out here. Alright, now what do we got here? I think we're gonna go with that. Time to tighten the jam in there. Okay, that's that. Putting this back together. Yeah, I don't know what happened to my camera, why it shut off during the teardown, but you'll have to learn this all if you're going to do it anyway. So, next job I'm hoping to do is to rejet the carb. Since I've taken the smog pump off. A little laggy on the acceleration, so I'm told to jet it. That'll fix it. Anyway, Maverick out. I'm gonna put my bike back together and go for a ride. If you have any questions, shoot it into the comments. Not much to subscribe to yet, but it's coming. Have a good day.